The markets have been having a crazy summer. And honestly, I haven't had this much fun trading and deploying capital in a very, very long time. There's a lot I want to talk about and a lot that I want to celebrate with the members of Waves Capital of the portfolio group because we have made some pretty life-altering gains this week. Drop a comment below if you know what I'm talking about. But the focus of this video is going to be Riot Platforms, Bitcoin miners, and of course, Bitcoin. This sector has been holding up incredibly well and showing signs of promise in a very, very uncertain market environment. And I really have a good feeling about what's on the horizon for Bitcoin miners and BTC. In this video, we're going to talk about Riot Platforms' new acquisition. We're going to discuss the upcoming Trump speech at the Bitcoin conference because I think that this could be a catalyst that potentially sends Bitcoin to new all-time highs. I'm not saying on the day of the conference, but on the horizon in the month or months ahead. I think that the momentum is clear here. And I think that this, although some people may be looking past it now, could be a major catalyst, as I just said. So more on that when we read over it. And then, of course, we'll take a look at Riot Platforms on the charts. We'll take a look at Bitcoin because we can't take a look at Bitcoin miners without talking Bitcoin first. And I'll discuss my upside price targets for both of these names because, as I just alluded to, I'm very bullish on the entire sector. Okay. At the end of the video, I also want to take a look at NVDA and kind of just talk about the major correction, almost flash crash that we're seeing in big tech right now. If you've been following the channel, you know that we called for this. We called for NVIDIA to 105. We got well below 110 today. And although it's taken a bit longer than anticipated, it's happening now. And really that is playing in the favor of all of us over Waves Capital. So good times, you guys. I'm really excited for just what's going on in the markets right now. As I said, I haven't had this much fun trading in quite a long time, and it's been super, super lucrative. Okay, so before we get to reading, if you guys do want to join Waves Capital, we'll read through this through the newsletter. As probably before we get to Bitcoin on the charts, we'll read over the articles first, just cover the fundamental bullish arguments for Riot and Bitcoin miners. And then we'll spend some time celebrating. But you guys, we shortened the video well. We have been on absolute fire. Again, life-altering gains really have been made this week. And it's just cheers are very, very, very necessary for a week like this. So super exciting. If you guys want to join Waves Capital, if you want to know how I'm trading my personal portfolio on a daily basis, then that's going to be the first link in the description of this video. It's my complete portfolio, daily trade alerts, and email newsletters. It's pretty straightforward, okay? You will receive everything this box here entails, and I'll let you choose whichever pricing plan you want. Obviously, it's your choice at the end of the day. If you sign up, then welcome to the winning team. Trust me, if you're trading with us this week, we would have paid for probably a lifetime of membership, regardless of how much you were trading with. So give it a shot. Try it free. The reason I do free trials is because I'm so confident in what I provide. And again, if you sign up, we look forward to having you. If not, no worries at all. As always, I appreciate you watching this video. That said, let's get to reading. Riot Platforms acquisition of block mining makes sense, JPMorgan says. That's kind of fun. That's kind of weird because the company's called block mining. It always trips me up. Anyway, Riot will have the second largest capacity among U.S. listed Bitcoin miners following the purchase. And the deal serves as the latest evaluation of underdeveloped power asset, the report said. Riot's acquisition of rival Bitcoin miner block mining makes sense. JPMorgan noted that Riot will have the second largest capacity of the U.S. Bitcoin miners. The bank has an overweight rating on Riot stock with a $12 price target, which isn't very high. As you can see, I clearly think it is going to go much higher than that, but we'll discuss that when we get into the charts. Okay, wrong article. Let's just read these two quick paragraphs, then we'll move on to this Trump rally, which again, could be some big news for Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin. Okay, makes sense because it diversifies the company's power supply and increases its capacity to over 2 gigawatts, JPMorgan said in a research report on Wednesday. Riot will have the second largest capacity among U.S. listed Bitcoin miners following the acquisition. Deal also serves as the latest appraisal of underdeveloped power assets. Kind of just read all the same things over again, but straight to the point, that is why this acquisition I think is good. I don't think that there are any arguments for the bears to make as far as this acquisition is concerned. As far as the Bitcoin, the Bit Farms, thing goes, I'm really pretty indifferent about that. I don't think, I don't necessarily agree with the tactics they're implementing here, but I mean, I don't think there's any downside, right? If it doesn't go through, then everyone's just going to forget about it. If it does, that's a pretty big deal for Riot too. So I think there's only upside potential as far as the Bitfarms fiasco is concerned. But this is just objectively good news in my opinion. Okay, so good news for Riot. Again, we'll take a look at Riot on the charts, talk price targets after we talk about this, because this could just be good news for just really Bitcoin in general and the entire crypto market. Okay, so CNBC, Trump raises more than $4 million in Bitcoin, other digital coins as crypto support pays off. Before I continue reading this, I want to make clear that I'm not voting in this election, okay? I'm about as gray as they come. I'm selfish. All that matters to me at the end of the day is the well-being of my family and my loved ones and you guys and my wallet, okay? I'm a trader. I'm a capitalist. So I just want to make that clear. I'm not red or blue. I'm gray as they come, baby, okay? Key points. Former President Donald Trump has raised more than $4 million in cryptocurrencies. Contributors to the Trump 47 committee have donated Bitcoin, Ether, Ripple's XRP token, and the US dollar pegged stablecoin USDC, according to a Federal Election Commission filing. Trump is keynoting a major Bitcoin conference in Nashville, Tennessee on Saturday. Okay, so you guys can go read the rest of this if you want. What's important is this last note, okay? Boom, this guy, that guy right there. If he's talking about Bitcoin, that's good news, especially considering it's incredibly likely that he is going to be the next president of the United States. Again, not voting, but as a gambling man, as a betting man, I would bet a lot of money on the fact that Trump wins this upcoming election. Again, do I agree with it? I'm not going to say I agree with it. Am I against it? I'm not opposed to it. Again, great. But I think that this is good for American patriotism. There is a tangible sense of patriotism returning to the nation. That's my opinion, at least. And ultimately, I think Trump getting into the presidential seat is a net positive for the markets. I'll say that right now. Okay? Not going to go deeper than that. But if the next president is bullish on Bitcoin, if he's a Bitcoiner, if he's a Bitcoin guy, and also if you remember a couple of weeks back, we talked about how he was speaking. He was going to Bitcoin mining facilities and speaking with like the CEO of Riot. This is very, very good news. And this, I think, is being overlooked, as I stated in the beginning, as a major potential catalyst for upside in Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners. And I'm really excited for what the result of this will be. Okay, so on that note, also, if you guys want the beautiful Bitcoin canvas behind me, I sell these puppies on Amazon for $74, so I'll link that down below as well if you guys want one of these guys. As far as price is concerned, Bitcoin, even as I'm making this, is showing a lot of promise. Right now, in after hours, probably looking pretty good too. Not super good, but again, a lot better than the rest of the market for the most part. Okay, so Bitcoin. I'll just discuss the short term right now and then discuss the longer term as we zoom out. Okay, Bitcoin right now is, I will say, let's just get the bad news out of the way first. The potential bad news, I should say. It's not bad news, but potentially what could pose a bit of an issue is a potential, again, big P word, head and shoulders pattern playing out. Okay. So right now we have the initial shoulder, the head came down. We're kind of mirroring the initial shoulder range, creating that potential head and shoulders pattern. And, if this does play out, which given everything I've just been saying, I don't think it will. But if it does play out, it would probably take us back down to about $60,000. Just about $60,000 and $60,500 is likely where it would take us down. So if that happens, I will absolutely be buying more Riot Platforms, call options. If it doesn't, then I already have plenty of contracts to ride with. Again, if you want to know which call options I have on Riot Platforms, that's going to be the first link in the description. Okay? Life-changing gains have been locked in. Again, we'll celebrate after Bitcoin's chart before Riot. Okay? So if that pans out, then it would take us down to, $60K, 65. Like 60,500. Okay? But ultimately, I think the momentum favors the bulls. I think the fundamental momentum favors the bulls. And I do think, 4-hour daily stochastic RSI and RSI actually doesn't look super bullish right now. 4 hours shows a little bit more promise with 4-hour exponential 4-hour RSI breaking above its EMA or exponential moving average and 4-hour stochastic RSI on the very bottom here where my cursor is hovering, curling upwards. Okay, that's very bullish as far as the shorter term is concerned. And if we can break above $66,000, if we can close a 4-hour candle above 66K, that would, in my opinion, discount the potential of this head and shoulders pattern resolving itself, which is good news for the bulls, obviously. Okay, so zooming out here, I think that Bitcoin has a very clear target in mind, and I think that target is going to be this line of resistance. Okay, I'll call it conservative resistance. This is absolute. This is conservative because you have multiple touch points in play. You know what? We'll just go right there just to play it safe. Okay, and I can kind of just get rid of this one. Okay, so if we test this within the next, let's just go by July 31st. Okay, within the next week. That would bring us up just over 6% to a price of $69,000. We'll just call it, we'll round up to $70,000. Okay, obviously dependent upon when this trend line is hit. From there is when things get interesting because either we get rejected and begin a new downtrend, or we break out and ultimately make our way to new all-time highs, which again, given this low-key catalyst, I think could be the scenario in the week ahead. We also have the Federal Reserve meeting coming up. Maybe they cut rates. If they do, great news for Bitcoin, great news for small caps like Riot and our IWM contracts that have been crushing it for us today. Okay, so that said, let's do some celebrating, and then we'll take a look at Riot and talk about these price targets that I have in place. Okay, the Gatsby cheers was necessary on a day like today. Okay, markets kicked off the morning at the deep red with names like NVDA falling a whopping 5% upon open. Our contracts were up 2x upon open. Locked in some profits. Trading volume is insane. Volatility is spiking, and you can feel the tension in the air. What a time it is to be a trader. If you're on the right side of the trade, that is. We've absolutely crushed it this week, guys. We called the winners, the diamonds of the rough, and more importantly, we called the losers. That's what I meant to say. We called the losers, and we capitalized. We really couldn't have played the cyclical shift much better, and that by cyclical shift, I mean from mega caps, large caps, to small caps. Again, really just crushed. We crushed it, guys. I will thank and congratulate all of you for being a part of Waves Capital through this win. Making money is cool, but making money with your team is freaking awesome. Let's lock in some of these life-altering gains, buy out more call options with all these put profits, and cheers to many more. Okay, so quickly zoom past the portfolio just out of respect for those members. A little slow. Maybe if you get a quick pause, you can get some of those, but that's all right. We're altering it on a daily basis. Just to let you guys know, if you're not yet a member, if you're considering it, this is what the daily trade alert newsletters look like. I send out a flash trade alert before this with the trades as real time as I can make it. Again, if you do want to join for the last time, it's the first link in the description of this video. Complete portfolio daily newsletter. Okay, the wins are well deserved. Again, treat yourselves, treat your loved ones to a beautiful meal this evening, because that's what money is for. And after today, we've got a lot more of it. Okay, so that's awesome. Let's take a look at Riot. We'll close it out with NVIDIA, and then we'll call it a day. You'd like to see that after hours price action right there. Good stuff. Okay, so Riot has had a tough week, right? Since that initial rally we saw in mid-July, about a week or so ago, up to 1320, it's been kind of in a downtrend sense. We've kind of printed before that larger sell-off today, where it looked to me like we were printing a shorter-term bull flag. That's discounted with this closure, but I'm hoping that's a bear trap. Given my bullish sentiment that I just explained about Bitcoin, I think that it is a bear trap, and I do think that a second wave is coming with that catalyst, if not being this Trump keynote at the Bitcoin conference, Riot's earnings report on July 31st. If we look down 6 days from now, July 31st, obviously, you can see that Riot's recent earnings have been pretty major. Okay, there are some strings that they pulled to make these look much better than they are as far as EPS is concerned, tax credits and whatnot. But the momentum is clear, you guys. The momentum is clearly, you can just feel it. Again, it's actually really similar to how I feel about just Trump gaining momentum heading into the election. You can't necessarily, there's a lot of minute factors, there's a lot of micro factors that are at play that just signal that momentum in favor of, again, Trump potentially winning the election. P word being thrown out a lot. P word's important. And, Bitcoin and Riot potentially rallying higher, but you can feel them. Again, they are tangible. And again, it's a little abstract. This is a little speculative, but let me know in the comments below if you kind of get what I'm saying. Just that general momentum, that feeling of positive momentum in the favor of these. And I do think that, again, if this doesn't catalyze the move up, I do think that Riot's earnings on July 31st will act as that catalyst. And I do think we get a second wave, ultimately up to testing my line of long-term resistance. Conservative long-term resistance, once again, absolute. I think this line is much safer to follow right here. And if I'm correct, and if we really do get that second wave within the next couple of weeks, maybe even a month, okay, I think that we can easily climb another 50% from current levels where we're sitting at right now at about 1075, 50% to $16 in order to test this line of resistance. I'll just say right now, the reason I have this guy here, I do have 920 contracts on Riot Platforms. Money where my mouth is, you guys. I bought more Riot contracts today on this dip, and let's hope I'm right again. I'm really liking how this after hours price action is looking right now. Okay, so finally, we called the NVIDIA puts. NVIDIA drop, we bought some puts, and I think overall, we 4 to 5x'd that NVIDIA position, okay? Did a lot of position altering, did a lot of contract swapping. Not a lot, but a few contract swaps over the course of shorting NVIDIA. But overall, I think we like 4 to 5x'd our gains. If not, maybe even a little more. So NVIDIA, again, all is playing out well. This is a classic, as I said in both of these videos, this is just a classic bubble. This is what every bubble I've ever played looks like, and it's happening right now. You can fall a lot faster than you can climb. Although NVIDIA is kind of bouncing around, which makes sense, I do think that we do still fall another 8 or 9%, 8.5% from current levels at $112 to $102, maybe $103 to officially close this gap, the top end of this gap range. And I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if we fall to my worst case scenario, which is about 13% from here, to $97 in order to retest this prior untested high as well as the bottom end of this gap range, which, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that. And I wouldn't be surprised either if we saw it happen within the next week or so. Because again, once you start following, once the momentum breaks and shifts coming out of a manic-driven hype cycle like this, things fall incredibly fast. If you've traded Bitcoin over the past couple of years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And thankfully I have, because I've been able to make a shitload of money off of this NVIDIA short. Okay, so, and it's important to keep in mind too, even if we do fall to $97, which seems insane, also about a 30% correction from the all-time high, which is like super par for the course when you're talking about hype cycles and long-term bull markets, we're still up over 100%. We've still over 2x'd in 2024 alone. So that's really important to remember. Okay, we kicked off 2024 like $50. Even if we're at $100, we're still up 2x on the year. Okay, so if you're long NVIDIA, if you're trying to buy this dip, I'd be careful. But if you're holding puts like we are over at Waves Capital, congratulations. It has been an amazing week, and I'm really excited for what the future has in store. Last time, I promise, if you want to join Waves Capital, if you want to become a member of the complete portfolio and daily newsletter team, it's the first link in the description. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of all this, if you think I'm whack or if you think I'm right, and let me know why. And until next time, you guys, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.